Science or reading science. A few years back, we were at Puerto Vida. This was a place on a rather pristine ocean front, and we were there working, not opposing, working for, looking for alternatives to a proposed mining project, a development that was occurring in the area. And that's an entire story about what happened there. We were building community, we were looking for ways to work off the land that were sustainable. And we found ourselves on a crossroad with many projects going on and a little bit of dispersion of our efforts. And I felt that we needed some guidance or a sign, something to believe in the power of setting an intention. So I moved away from the main house towards an area with trees, an open area. And there I asked for a sign that there is magic, that we could overcome the odds against us by having a clear intention, by tapping on the power of the land. And I just asked for a sign. And then suddenly this bird fell basically at my feet, maybe 1 meter, 1 yard in front of me. Boom! This little bird just fell off the sky. That wasn't the kind of sign I was looking for, and I was rather shocked. And I didn't know a bird could just drop off the sky, die in midair. How could that possibly happen? The bird looked a little bit odd, so I grabbed a stick and put the little poor bird on her side, and then I realized the shocking reality that the bird was headless. Her head had been cut clear at the neck. The little neck bone was there. It was a pretty straight cut. And I was further shocked by this headless bird falling at my feet. Something with very small odds, and assuming a raptor had caught this bird in mid-air and severed its head, and somehow it had lost the grip of the bird's body, and the body had fallen to the ground. Maybe the raptor was looking at me from the trees. I couldn't see it. But I saw it as a sign that life has dimensions that are beyond the rational and beyond the expected. A sign that there were possibilities for us beyond what the rational thinking will expect from life. Then I look at the metaphoric value of what had happened, and I saw it as a symbol or as a sign to literally go for the head, to sever the head of what we were confronting. Not in any violent manner, not in any literal sense. We had a strong commitment to non-violence, and we weren't even in opposition to the project. We were looking for alternatives, positive alternatives to what was being offered, which was extremely detrimental to the land and as an economic proposal. It was really drawn. So this was about going for the head, for the thinking behind the project, and to confront that. So immediately we started an effort, a counter-propaganda effort, where we put out material and through websites, gave radio interviews, magazine interviews that were published, all about the project and talking about the project from the perspective of the investors that were behind this multi-billion-dollar project. We used the voice of the investors to talk about the project with real data, real numbers, and just talk in terms of maximizing profit, which was the perspective of investors. We just were taking the voice of the investors in a very honest manner and released recordings and videos talking about the project in its entirety and the impact on the land, all with very real information and without any passionate appeal to the land as a sacred thing or not any new agey message, but just using the voice of the minds that were behind the effort with complete honesty. And then it's shocking when you hear how the project is going to make that much profit and how the taxes are going to be so low, for which we use the example of Chile, Chile being a very mining-centric economy, where in Chile there's more tax revenue from taxing cigarettes than from mining efforts. And this new mining open sky or open pit mining project was kind of following the economic model of Chile. And there were many other elements. Where we talk about the environmental reports, the lab reports, how the numbers have been tweaked to make them look a lot better than they were because the numbers weren't good. One of the biggest issues with open pit mining is not so much what is extracted from the land or the hole that is made in the ground, but all the remaining material after the minerals that are sought are removed. There's all this other material that accumulates and is broken into pieces, and then rain percolates through these mounds, gigantic mounds of material, and chemicals are released from the remaining material. There's a name for it, for this remaining material that it's not waste, it's a rather dramatic name. And then the rain percolates through these and releases chemicals in a much larger amount that would happen naturally if the rock remains in the ground untouched. The reports clearly show that there was going to be a lot more arsenic, for instance, that permitted by all kinds of international standards, but then the lab reports were tweaked by measures like, the temperature is going to be different, so there's a factor of 10 to reduce the affluence, and so on, to the point where there were environmental reports that were much rosier than reality. Now, this is a lot of technical detail, but going back to the fact that when asking for guidance, for a sign, a bird fell from the sky. A headless bird fell from the sky. And that was a clear sign that there's something greater than what is evident to the rational mind and to the eye. And then we could interpret it in different ways. Maybe the assigning of meaning is a more difficult process. But the uncanny event happened just at the moment I was asking for a sign. The power of intention, the power of listening, the power of praying, the power of laughter. The bird became part of a makeshift altar we had in the house. There were pieces of tree trunks and candles burning, and the tree trunks were covered with wax, and the bird was there with other elements from the land that joined this altar. Life can be larger than itself. Life can be larger than life. Life can be larger than our image, our expectations of life.